Welcome to another session of a screen recording of a lecture that I might prefer to give in class, but this semester we will not be able to do that. So one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about and stimulate your thinking on is the challenge of densely packed PowerPoint presentations. I'll be honest, as much as I am a PowerPoint idealist who loves to have PowerPoint presentations that are magical and make me want to cry, I'm often left with presentations that look somewhat like this. I'm going to close out this screen and we're just going to walk through. This is often how bureaucrats communicate with each other. And what is so fascinating is that presentations like this are excellent sources of referential information. So say, for example, this presentation was given down in Los Angeles and I could not attend. What's beautiful is that I can go online and I can find this PowerPoint presentation and I can read it and I can learn exactly what I need to know from the content because there's so much of it, right? But the problem I had personally was that I participated in this presentation as an audience observer, where my hardworking colleague went up and delivered this information to the room. And what we had going with this PowerPoint was that as she tried to deliver all this content in a compressed time frame, she was moving through the content so fast and was talking about things as she was going slide by slide. I would say on average, she probably spent about 30 seconds on each slide. Okay, so I am an expert in this type of content. I have worked in this particular facet of community college education for about 15 years. So keeping up with her and learning about all of these other things, you would think would come to me pretty easily. However, as she went through so fast about this somewhat new information that I would need to get literate in, and she was blah, 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 and allied health, you know, here at MUC we have blah, 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 we also have the baccalaureate pilot degree, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to read this content on the screen, but what's happening is I'm getting two channels of information. So how do we deal with this? Because while many of us may want to go create a very compelling, informational, or persuasive PowerPoint, or we might have a widget to sell for our corporation, or we might have some training to do for our organization or corporation, many of us have to deliver and instruct very complicated information that's very driven by dry regulations and processes. What I hope you are seeing is what I felt as an audience member, is that I didn't learn anything from sitting through this presentation except for one thing, which saved me. The knowledge that I could go to the website and that this particular presentation would be posted in a website that I often visit on the MJC domain, and that I would be able to pull it up and when I have time, be able to study it. But here's the reality. I don't have time. So when you are in a presenting context and you have to deliver content like this, I would ask you to think critically about what is essential and what are we trying to do with this PowerPoint. Are we trying to create what Nancy Duarte in her textbook calls a slide-ument, which is basically a slide that is acting like a document? Is that the best way to do this? Or is what we might want to consider doing is conveying the information in a format that makes sweeping, broad architectural strokes about what it is that we're trying to do and leaves the document content, the densely populated, verbose, bullety content on the page where it belongs. The other thing I want you to think about is in the land of bullets. Look how many bullets we have here. We have just bullets and bullets and bullets. They begin to lose their value. So how would we fix this? What are some ideas? I'd like to ask you as a class with your fresh eyes, with your non-bureaucrat eyes, to look at this. Maybe stop at a slide or two and see if you can learn from watching this presentation what exactly it is they're trying to teach us. And think, as a viewer, what would you want to know from these slides? And how could we make them better? How could we go forth in bureaucrat land and create PowerPoint presentations that don't make people feel tired and deadened by the time they leave?